Hello, welcome to the BT Sports studio. I'm Lindsay Hipgrave and I'm delighted to be joined by a couple of Liverpool legends, Michael Owen and Steven Gerrard with me. Liverpool's game against Porto taking place tonight on BT Sport 3 from 7. All the build-up there, 5-0 up going into that second leg. And then Real Madrid are in Paris to face PSG with a 3-1 lead in their second leg. That game is over on BT Sport 2. Right now, though, we're live on Facebook and Twitter, so get all your questions through for Michael and Steven. Just a formality tonight for Liverpool, Michael?
Yeah, I think so. Sensational performance in the first leg, and you know, if it was 2-0, 3-0, you could probably think, well, you know, as long as they don't concede in the first half, then it's through. But at 5-0, it is a formality, fortunately. For the neutral, maybe they wanted to see a game. But I think Liverpool, you know, they're not a type of team that just sits back and defends anyway, so I still think we'll see plenty of action in the game.
And Porto scored a lot of goals this season as well, so hopefully goals. Liverpool, though, Stephen, Man United on Saturday. How many changes do you think Jurgen Klopp will make?
Probably 2 or 3, maybe 4. That's what he's been doing of late. He has been freshening it up. You know, he doesn't see it as resting players. I think he believes in the full squad, and it's an opportunity for other people to come in and shine. And I think the important thing for Liverpool is to just try and keep the momentum going. They're in good form. The fans are in a good place. The last thing they need now, just before this Man United game, is a slow game or a frustrating game where the fans, you know, show their anger or the frustration. Just keep everyone happy, try and put in a positive performance and then try and take that into the weekend. As
you said, great form, and at the heart of that, Mo Salah, Michael, he scored 32 goals now in the last 7 in a row. Just how good has he been?
Well, he's been sensational. He's making us old strikers look useless with his record now. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. I was looking at his stats earlier today because we'll be doing a piece on him later, but I mean, at Roma he upped his game massively. I think we were all surprised, I think, at the start of the season when we see him banging in the goals and you think that's not the same player I saw at Chelsea. But when you look at Roma, look a bit more closely, then he did move himself to another level. And he's gone up a level again, I'd say,
because he was more of an assister there,
he
really,
was, loads of assists. But he did score quite a few as well. So if you look at the Roma stats and then look at Liverpool, it's still a bit surprising how well he's done, but not as surprising, I think, in most people that just saw him at Chelsea and now at Liverpool, because he's a totally different animal. Doesn't play as wide, he likes cutting in a lot more, scores a lot more goals, much more productive. But his record is amazing. There's no sign of it stopping either.
How's Klopp turned him into this goal machine, then, that we're seeing now?
Well, I think he's first and foremost got him closer to the goal. You know, we analysed him at the weekend, going into the Newcastle game, and he's receiving the ball a lot more in the opposition area. I think he makes great runs through central areas in between full-backs and central defenders. And when he gets in, he's so confident at the moment, and he's so relaxed in front of goal. You know, he's finding the net all the time, and you wondered at the beginning, is he in a good phase, and you know, will he have a dip in form? But he just seems to be getting better and better, which is fantastic for all Liverpool fans.
Would you risk him tonight?
I wouldn't. Not with Manchester United at the weekend. It's such a big game, just to cement your place in the top 4, but also now there's a bit of a rivalry to see who finishes second in the Premier League. So, you know, but Jurgen might be thinking, keep the momentum going, he's in a good place. Strikers like to play. We were speaking, me and Michael, just off camera before we come on, about if it was me, I'd rather have a break going into United, but Michael said he'd rather play because he'd want more goals. and
greedy breed.
Greedy breed, and you want to stay in a good place as a striker and keep your confidence up, so maybe that's what Jurgen's thinking and might play him.
How tough will it be mentally, do you think, for the players tonight to not be blasé? Because it's quite an unusual lead to take into a second leg at this stage of the Champions League.
Well, it'll be tougher for the Porto players because they'll be coming here thinking this is going to be the longest 90 minutes of our lives here. Probably not going to touch the ball much and no chance whatsoever of qualifying. But I take your point. I've been involved in a fair few games where the game is pretty much over. Second legs are quite difficult to manage. I always remember playing as an international against Scotland and being 2-0 up at Hampden Park in a playoff and then coming to Wembley and not knowing whether to stick or twist as a team. We ended up getting beat 1-0 and just going through to the European Championships. But it's very difficult a lot of the time when you're ahead, as I say, whether to just think, right, let's just not concede, or even if we concede, let's just concede 1 and forget about attacking. Of course, that's not going to play in their minds tonight because they're so far ahead, so it's, I'm pretty sure it'll be a nice, enjoyable night.
Thank you for all your questions and your comments coming through already. David Howard says, is Salah the greatest African player in Premier League history? Tough one.
It's a tough one, with such short thinking time. Yes, probably. I think you'd have to wait to see how he finishes the season, but if he continues to get goals and sets a record, then you'd have to say yes.
Or leads Liverpool to silverware, perhaps, with him in this form?
Yeah, I think this season it'll be difficult. Yeah, you know, the dark horses in the Champions League, and you know, they've got a fighter's chance in that competition like everyone else, but obviously the league's out the way now. Manchester City are going to win the league, but certainly in the future, going into next season, he is a big tool for Liverpool. If he continues to post them numbers in terms of goals, Liverpool have got a very good chance of getting silverware.
Why can't they win the Champions League this year, Michael, with the front three playing as well as they can?
They can.
I think they can, yeah. Yeah, I see no reason why they can't. I think Liverpool set up perfectly for this type of football where it's knockout football, because, you know, on the day they can beat anyone and beat them convincingly as well. And I think it's going to be important. Again, this leg's over, so it doesn't matter so much. But I think any leg that they get, any draw that they get, if they're going back to Anfield in the second leg, I just fancy Liverpool regardless. Even if they're 2-0 down, we've seen it before. Dortmund only a couple of seasons ago. We've seen it before. Anfield's a magical place. So Stevie used the words dark horse there, and I think that's probably very apt. Nobody in this competition will want to face Liverpool.
What about Drogba or Yaya Toure being suggested as possibly better?
Yeah, I think at the moment you'd have to say certainly Didier Drogba. You know, scoring big goals in big cup finals. You know, played against him was an absolute nightmare to play
and
against.
doing it consistently, I guess.
Consistently, yeah. But I think in terms of a one-off season, in terms of goal return, if he continues to score the way he is, you know, he could get 40 goals. I'm not sure Didier Drogba posts them numbers in any of his seasons, but over a long space of time, you can't argue against Drogba or Yaya Toure. They've been two fantastic servants for either of their clubs.
I wonder what you think of this, guys. There's been a poll on Twitter on BT Sport Football this week, and we've asked who you'd rather have in your team during their Liverpool prime. Was it Suarez, Mo Salah or Fernando Torres? And the results of that poll, Luis Suarez, 51%, Salah 28% and Torres 21%. That's off 17,000 votes so far. Would you agree with those numbers, Michael?
As soon as you said it, I thought Suarez. Listen, that might change in time. If, you know, Salah continues to do this for another 2 or 3 years, then that vote will look very different. But at the moment, Suarez was one of, I mean, you're talking Messi, Ronaldo and Suarez and Neymar, really. I think they were head and shoulders for the last few years above everyone else. So I would say that Suarez was so special, such a special player in his Liverpool days. I would probably go along with that vote and say just Suarez at the moment.
Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to play with two of them. I'd certainly say Fernando had a great phase at Liverpool, but Suarez done it for longer. And I still believe if he was at Liverpool now, he would be consistent in terms of hitting that 30-goal return. He also done an awful lot more away from the goals as well, assisting goals, the work rate he used to put in for the team. So for me, I'd be biased towards Suarez. But what I would say is if Salah goes on to continue to be consistent over a number of years and add silverware, that will give him an advantage against Torres and Suarez because they never won much.
Yeah, we could have another look at that in a couple of seasons perhaps. Ryan Curlin, Michael, says, out of the players currently in the Premier League, who would you like to have played up top with?
Currently?
Someone passes the ball.
Yeah, I was thinking of Aguero and then Kane. I was thinking, none of them pass. They're too much like me.
What about Firmino? The amount of work he puts in for everyone.
He would be great to play. Do you know, the Liverpool front three is so good because it's so unselfish. You know, and it has been for many years now. It's always been a three-pronged attack, right back to Brendan Rodgers' days with Sterling and we've mentioned Suarez and Sturridge. It's always been a brilliant attack. So I think there'd be a lot of fun playing in that. But as Stevie rightly says...
He's thinking De Bruyne, aren't you?
I'm thinking
top of
like
the assist.
David Silva, De Bruyne...
That's not really playing up top with him, though, is it? Let's say we're going for a 4-4-2.
Out-and-out strikers, it's got to be between Kane and and Aguero, hasn't it? I still don't see Salah as a striker, I see him as sort of a wide player that cuts in. So I'd probably say for consistency, Harry Kane.
Yeah. Stephen, David Crook says, who wins, this Liverpool team or the team from 2005?
This team? Yeah, I believe that. I think we were massive underdogs in 2005. I think we had a fantastic spine to the team. But I think in terms of strength all over the pitch and where this team's capable of going, I think this current team would beat us.
And quickly before we go, just a quick prediction on the other game. PSG with it all to do tonight. Real Madrid 3-1 up going into that one, and without Neymar. What chance do you give them of turning that around?
Well, they've got a chance. I mean, I did say before the tie was sort of evenly poised. I think Paris were probably just slight favourites, but I just thought the experience, the know-how of that experienced team, Real Madrid, I thought they'd qualify. I still believe they'll qualify. It'll be difficult to win in Paris, but, you know, I think it'll be a 1-1 or a 2-1 to Paris, but at the end of the day, Madrid will go through.
What do you reckon, Stephen?
I think you can't bet against Real Madrid with Ronaldo in the team, and also Madrid's midfield. It sounds like Modric is going to pull through and cruise, and for me, when they click, they're the best midfield in the world for me in terms of controlling games. I think PSG will push. I think the fans will get behind them and they'll have their moments and their opportunities, but I agree with Michael. The experience of this team, I know they're not going well domestically at the moment, but they've got the know-how. They won't be fazed by the occasion or by the atmosphere, and they'll go and play the stuff, and I do fancy them to score.
Loads of pressure on both the managers going into that one tonight. Thanks very much, Stephen. Michael Stevens covering that game, PSG against Real Madrid. That's on BT Sport 2 from 7 o'clock. He's with Gary Lineker, Rio Ferdinand and Frank Lampard. Michael here with me and Owen Hargreaves for Liverpool against Porto from 7 on BT Sport 3. See you later.